Hello, everyone. John Maddox here. Just want to do a quick update. So the meet, which I mentioned in my last video, is actually going to be June 12th, which is a Thursday, which is beautiful. It is the APF slash AAPF Nationals. And so they've broken it out. What's nice about the APF slash AAPF, and if people don't know this, in Michigan, back in the early 2000s, I ran the first three AAPF meets. So, yeah, Feather and John Maddox's cap for that. Dan DeFelice back then, who was running the APF, when the AAPF came out, which is the drug tested division, he knew I was a drug tested athlete competing in at the time, which was called the USAPL, asked me to do the AAPF meets. I ran three of them. And then later on, they ended up combining, which is the best thing that any powerlifting organization could have ever done, because then it allows everyone from one gym to go to one meet because you can have non-tested, you can have tested, you can have, raw, you can have equipped, you can have multiply equipped. So, and you can have single lift nationals with three lift nationals. And so on Thursday, it's going to be the bench press nationals and the deadlift nationals. I'm competing in the 55 to 59. I believe I'm going to make 275-pound weight. I do not believe, but I may weigh in at 176. I don't know. My goal is to just come in as big as I can. Um, I'm not as strong as I was, not that long ago because I've already laid out in videos here. I've been trying to catch up on some stuff because of getting ill at the end of the year, going into January, February, and March. Plus, I fell, hurt my shoulder. My shrugs are great. So if you look at these, I'm going to post some shorts here of me shrugging 800 pounds, which is actually pretty cool. I haven't done it in a long time. So I kind of backed off of everything when I overtrained towards the end of the year and coming back. And so I had a training week back. So let's back up here. So last week was my week off. That week before that is I tried to hit my lifts again. But the week previous to that, I did get sick and I came in and I trained like crap. So luckily, based on the meet and timing, I repeated that workout, which I was, a little weaker that following week. I took last week off. I'm back today. Yeah, I should say today is Wednesday. So, but I was in there training yesterday, which is Tuesday. Um, I did try to push it a little too hard. I should have came up and did maybe a few more sets, with some lighter weights in the deadlifts. But I just, at this point, I want to just catch up on strength that I've lost. So I attempted to do a 780 after my squats. And one of the things that I realized is, with me having to put that plate under me when I'm squatting, is that I was putting my foot over the hole in the plate, not realizing what that's doing is that that's enough instability in my foot that has given me balance issues. So I had a hard time balancing 570. You see me squatting here. I went up to 640. At 640, I couldn't balance. So I tried to stand up with it and I had to just take it down to the pins because of that issue of my foot being over the hole in the plate. You would think that that little area wouldn't create a problem, but I guess the ball of my foot's right there and it's causing. So I got to fix that. The next time I squat, I just got to make sure that my foot's, the plates are big enough that I could actually have done it without putting it over the hole. But I just never thought that that amount would create an issue, but it definitely did. But I still, lifted up to 640. I just took it down under control and set it in the rack. It's all I could do with it. So the meet's June 12th. I'm doing the best thing that I can to get ready for it. Eating. I did come in the heaviest I've ever been when I trained here yesterday, which is May 28th. And so I'm going to show you some stuff here. Like I said, I'm just hoping that I'm going to, because right now my daughter's sick, so she's staying at her mom's house. I know some other people I know that are sick, I'm avoiding them. I just I can't afford to get sick anymore between now and the meet. So I got to stay away from anyone who is sick. So hopefully I can accomplish that task. And at the meet, my goal is to, open at 6, hit 705 on my second. And that way I can say I've done 4 decades in a row in my life of deadlifting 705 in meets. Never had an opportunity to deadlift 700 in a meet since turning the age of 50. So I did a meet last year. I think that was the only meet I've done since being the age of 50. And then, of course, that one didn't go as well as I wanted to, didn't even practice anything off the floor. I have made adjustments since that meet and feel much stronger. Um, don't know if I can do 800 pounds, but you know what? You got to remember all the training that I've done. If you've seen all the stuff that I'm posting, I'm deadlifting directly after squatting to my max. So my legs are already tired and I'm moving those weights. So I'm hoping, by coming to the meet, I'm not squatting. I mean, that's my plan. My goal is always to work my legs, get my legs stronger. And it's not to just deadlift, right? I want when your legs are tired, it forces you to use other muscles in your body to help you deadlift. So I'm shrugging 800 again. Finally got a chance to do that. So we'll see, but I want to get 705. That's bragging rights to say I've done 4 decades, and I got to do it quick because I'm 59 before I get to 60. And then obviously doing it again when I'm 60. I don't think there's a lot of people out there can say in 5 decades of their life that they've done over 700 pounds in meets, which is pretty cool, especially when you're in your 60s. I think the record for over 60 for a raw deadlift is only like 705. It's not that much. So I'm walking into this thing here of turning the age of 60, probably being one of the top 60-year-olds strength wise. So even though I want to be stronger for the 50-year-old guys also. So it's interesting. So, anyways, I'm just going to keep pushing, keep doing my best, and hopefully, some of these unfortunate events will stop happening, and I can continue to get better because I don't plan on stopping. I'm having a lot of fun doing this stuff. So when you can outlift most of the people in the gym when you're 60, almost 60 years old, it's definitely a lot of fun. But anyways, the meet Thursday, June 12th. So it's a local meet, even though it's the Nationals, it's at my home gym. All these things tend to help you do well when you don't have to travel. So we will see what happens. So the next update you're going to get from me will be the results of the meet. Everyone have yourself a great rest of your week.